So Elmer Stewart Rhodes, head of the Oath Keepers, on trial for seditious conspiracy, testified in his own defense today. And he went full Trump. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So I spent what felt like a very long day today inside the Federal District Courthouse in Washington, D.C., watching the ongoing seditious conspiracy trial against members of the Oath Keepers. And the lead defendant and head of the Oath Keepers, Elmer Stewart Rhodes, testified today in his own defense. And what I want to do is just kind of go through some of the greatest hits that we heard today while Elmer was on the stand testifying. I'm going to refer to my notes here because for the entire day I was furiously taking down much of what Elmer was trying to sell to the jury. Here are some of my favorite lines or bits of testimony that we heard from Elmer Stewart Rhodes. First of all, he said he joined the Army, but he washed out, his term. He washed out of Special Forces. Of course, he was quick to add that the reason he washed out of Special Forces was because somebody reassigned him to a different specialty over his objection or without his consent. I got news for Elmer. I was active duty Army. That's kind of the way it works. But of course, he had to let the jury know that he washed out of the Special Forces because of somebody else's actions. Wasn't his fault. Yeah, nobody will ever accuse Elmer of being a stand-up guy, and he proved that over and over and over again in his testimony today. He also said, "I believe the 2020 presidential election was invalid and unconstitutional. So I acted accordingly." And he said the Supreme Court was wrong when it rejected challenges to the election's results. What he didn't tell the jury is who in the world appointed or maybe anointed him arbiter of what elections are constitutional and what elections are unconstitutional in the United States of America. He thought he had the right to make that decision and act accordingly. Elmer also said, "I never told the members of the Oath Keepers to engage in violence, right? To try to take the Capitol, to try to stop the certification, even though stop the steal is kind of all over Elmer's written communications." But when he said that he never told his subordinates, the Oath Keepers, to engage in violence of any kind, the prosecutor, Assistant United States Attorney Kate Rakoczy, asked Elmer about a number of his own written communications to the Oath Keepers talking about the upcoming certification of the election, January 6th. And here is some of what Elmer told his troops. "Get squared away and ready to fight. The final defense is us and our rifles. We're not getting out of this without a fight." And he also said, "Conquer or die." But, he never urged violence. And then I really got a kick out of this one, friends. The prosecution had put on a witness who was a former Oath Keeper. I think his last name was Zimmerman. And he said he had this encounter with Elmer Stewart Rhodes, where Rhodes said, "You know what we should do? We should dress up as if we're elderly and vulnerable. We should carry steel canes go to a Trump rally and will goad or bait, Elmer's word, members of Antifa or BLM who are there as counter-protesters, will bait them into attacking us, and then we will give them, quote, a good beatdown with those steel canes. Mr. Zimmerman, to his credit, said, that's not what supporting and defending the Constitution looks like to me. I'm out. And they got into it. And Elmer Stewart Rhodes testified today, no, he misunderstood me. I didn't say those kind of things. And then the prosecutor, Ms. Rakoczy, said, well, Mr. Rhodes, can I show you a receipt where you used the Oath Keeper's credit card to purchase? Let's see. Multiple heavy-duty steel canes with pistol grips. And these items are advertised to be used on a, quote, walk through the urban jungle. You purchased those heavy-duty steel canes with pistol grips before one of the Trump rallies, didn't you? Well, yeah, but that was for defensive purposes only. The hits kept coming. So old Elmer was cross-examined about a series of messages he posted from his phone to the Oath Keepers after the attack on the Capitol, after January 6th. And he was asked, did you post this message? Do not discuss what happened at the Capitol. Go dark, on your phone to all of the Oath Keepers. Actually, it was in a Signal chat group. And Elmer said, yeah. And then minutes later, did you follow it up with, let me make it even clearer, shut the F up about what happened at the Capitol? Yeah. And then a few minutes later, did you add, delete all your incriminating comments? No. No, my girlfriend and lawyer for the Oath Keepers organization, Kelly Sorrell, took my phone and pretended to be me, and she sent that message out telling all the Oath Keepers to delete their incriminating comments. Well, let's ask about a message that was sent just a few minutes after that one, where you sent out on your phone, look, I am the administrator of this chat and I can't delete your incriminating comments for you. You have to do it. No, that was still Kelly pretending to be me, using my phone. So not only was she pretending to be you, telling all of the Oath Keepers to delete their incriminating comments, but she was also pretending to be the administrator of this Signal chat? Yes. Who was the administrator of the Signal chat? Me. Yeah, that's kind of how that went. And I really do think, friends, that by this time the jurors are just, come on now, Elmer. We're not buying any of it. And then let me sum up with this one, because this is where Elmer went full Trump. Elmer said, yes, I am the supreme commander of the Oath Keepers. I think I am the president of the board for life. I'm in control. I'm the one who sets the agenda. I am the one who directs operations. And so the prosecutor, Ms. Rakoczy, said, well, so the buck stops with you. And he said, not if members of the Oath Keepers go off mission and go into the Capitol and attack people and assault police officers and try to stop the steal. The buck doesn't stop with me if they go off mission. What a stand-up guy old Elmer Stewart Rhodes is. By the end of it, it just felt like his testimony was like falling under the weight of its own frivolity. It was just that bad. And I have to believe the jury sees it that way too. But we'll be back in court tomorrow when some of the oath keepers, some of the defendants have said they'll be calling more witnesses in their defense, as they have a right to do. And we will see what tomorrow brings, but today didn't go so good for old Elmer Stewart Rhodes. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.